In this lesson, we are going to learn how to export your InDesign file as HTML, and we'll also learn how to create alternate layouts. As consumers become more mobile friendly, people are reading content on devices, and not just one device, but on many mobile devices like smartphones and tablets. So what this means for the InDesign user is that our skills have to evolve also. In this lesson, we're going to learn how to export your document as HTML and also create alternate layouts for your InDesign document so that your file will work on multiple devices. In other words, it will adapt to the orientation and the aspect ratio that it's being viewed from. The files that I'll be working on can be found in the Chapter 4 folder and are called export_HTML and alternate_layouts. In this video, we're going to cover the basics of exporting as HTML and alternate layouts. If you find this topic interesting, you'll certainly want to keep your site set on diving deeper into the web world by learning HTML5 and more about liquid layouts. But for now, we have enough to get started and convert our first InDesign file to HTML5. Let's start by taking a look at our basic InDesign file. What you're going to see here are a few graphics and also some text. You'll notice that the text here is styled, and the styles are actually mapped to saved paragraph styles, and some styles are character styles. You may notice here that we have a drop cap, and if we take a look at the drop cap, we can look over in the character styles and see that there's a saved style for that. And the reason I'm calling your attention to this is because when we export our pages to HTML, you're going to see that these styles are preserved and can be exported as HTML, all right? Now, if you're new to HTML, I would strongly suggest getting familiar with HTML and also with cascading style sheets, and you might find some good information in some of the Dreamweaver videos to help you out with that. But for now, let's go ahead and export out our pages as HTML. Let's go here to the File menu, and let's go down to Export, all right? File and Export. We're going to save this file in our Project Files Web Design folder. Let's go into Chapter 4, and in Chapter 4, go into the folder here called Web Page, and in the Web Page folder, this is where we're going to export our HTML file. Let's double check at the bottom and see our Save As Type options. Most of us are already used to creating EPS files and PDFs, both print and interactive PDFs, okay? But what we are looking for is right here, and this is HTML. My file name is demo.html. You can use the same file name that I did, or you can choose any other name, and then let's click Save. When the HTML export dialog box opens, you're going to be asked to make some decisions. One of the decisions that we'll have to make right away is exactly what we want to see on our web page. If we had anything selected, we would choose Selection, but in this case, we'll go with everything in the entire document. We didn't use the Articles panel, or we didn't structure any XML, so we are going to leave the default here, which is based on page layout. Some of the other things that you're going to notice in this dialog box have to do with HTML. When you're learning HTML, think of HTML basically as this. It is the content of your web page, meaning the content in the images, not really what makes it look good. You're going to need to also learn a little bit about cascading style sheets as you delve into the HTML and web development world also. For this lesson though, we're going to keep it very basic. We would like to view the HTML after exporting, so be sure that that's on. And then let's take a look in the Images category. Web developers forever and ever have always been kind of stuck with 72 pixels per inch for our resolution. Because of iPads and iPhones and all of the sophisticated technology now, we're not really limited to 72 pixels per inch for our resolution. So I'm going to leave this at 150 for now. All of the other options here we'll leave as the defaults. And then let's pop down to the Advanced category. Again, when you start learning about web development and saving things as web pages, there's two things that you're going to need to be familiar with. One is HTML and one is CSS. We're not quite there yet, so we are going to let InDesign do the work for us. This choice here to embed CSS is going to take our styles from here, from the paragraph styles and the character styles, and put those into our web pages, so our web pages will display very similar to the way our InDesign file displays. Let's check it out. Let's click OK. And now our web page opens. you're going to see our images, you're going to see some of our formatted text, and as we scroll down the page, you'll also see that our drop cap style was also brought over, and some of our other styles were brought over as well. If we continue to go down the page, you might also notice a hyperlink, okay? This hyperlink was created in InDesign. There's a whole set of tools that deal with interactive objects, and you can find those in the Windows menu, and you can add interactive objects such as hyperlinks. So you've just created your first HTML page from InDesign. We will go up here and minimize the browser, and in the second part of this lesson, we are going to talk about alternate layouts. So let's switch over to our alternate layouts document, and we are going to be in the Pages panel for this demonstration. Wouldn't it be great if we could take this one design and have it quickly adapt to another orientation or another aspect ratio for a completely different device class? Well, what does that mean exactly? That means, what if I pull this up on an iPad and I turn my iPad over to view this document landscape view, which is an orientation of 1024 by 768. Wouldn't it be cool if I could see this exact same design in a new orientation? And with Adobe InDesign CS6, we can do exactly that. Let's look here in the Pages panel, and let's take this design and create an alternate layout, all right? Let's start by maybe going up to page 1. And what we see here in the Pages panel is what we always see, just normal pages. Well, you can create an alternate design by going to the panel menu and going down to Create Alternate Layout. InDesign is going to say, well, okay, what do you want to name your layout? And again, for this example, we're going to create a layout for an iPad that's 1024 by 768. So let's just name this maybe iPad Landscape. And this might be confusing, this from source V right here. When we are done with this and we click OK, InDesign has given our original layout this weird name called letter V. Okay, it just arbitrarily makes up a letter number. We can change that, and we will. But for now, that's what this letter V is that is going to be our original source files here. And now we need to type in a width. Let's type in 1024 pixels, px, click tab. InDesign is going to do a little conversion for us. That's okay, no problem. 768 pixels, and everything else here, we'll just leave all the defaults on. If they're not on, please turn them on, and then let's click OK. You are going to see over in the Pages panel, now we have the exact same design, but we have an alternate layout. So if somebody views our design, normally they'll see letter V. Otherwise, perhaps if they're coming to us from an iPad that's 1024 by 768, they'll be able to see this orientation here. Well, letter V doesn't make any sense, does it? Let's change this name. If we click a couple times, we can actually change letter V to Original Design and enter. And now we have two different layouts. One is normal and one is landscape for an iPad. What you might need to do now is adjust the content on each page. Let's double click page 1, and this outside text frame, we can adjust that. We'll need to grab our selection tool and then just resize our outside frame and make that a little bigger to adapt to our new pages. We would need to do that to the other pages as well. And here's the cool thing, you can have many alternative layouts, not just one. We just created one for this demo. We could go in and create one for portrait style. We could go in and create one for other tablet device sizes, or as many alternate layouts as you need.